Welcome into Hand Raise Guys, presented by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. I'm Neal McCready here on this Thursday, July the 24th. Is that right? Is today the 24th? Yeah, 24th. I just realized in my mind, I've had a start date. I thought I was starting on Thursday, but I don't start till Friday. That's crazy. Oh, there you go. Thursday, July the 24th edition of The Big Show on a big day in sports. It's Alex Caruso Day, honoring the NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder in Oklahoma City. It's Alex Caruso Day. And nationally, this is the day that Donald Trump saved college sports. That's what he says. Said he saved college sports. Others aren't so sure. I know that will surprise you. Tom Mars, the esteemed attorney who has been a big part of the revamping of college sports. He says, I'd like to report a train wreck. Then later he says, it may have been a mistake for President Trump to wade into college sports with promises he can't keep. History has shown that presidents can get away with adultery and committing crimes, but screwing up college sports would almost guarantee the impeachment of any president. We'll get to all of that in a minute. First, I want to tell you that we are brought to you by our good friends at Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. They bring it every single week here on the show. Different names, same great people, products, and services. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, get in touch with Comer, 662-801-1777. If you live in Memphis, South Haven, Olive Branch, Hernando, those kind of areas, Horn Lake, those kind of areas, you need to get in touch with our friends at Southern, 662-429-4429. It's about 100 degrees outside right now. No joke, no exaggeration. It's just hot. If your AC is on the fritz, you don't want to play games, pick up the phone, make the call. Great service. Eric and all the people there are going to take great care of you. Tell them you heard about it on MPW Digital. That would do us a favor. But they'll take care of you. Maybe you just need some Freon. Maybe you're on the cusp of a problem. Maybe it's no big deal. Whatever. You don't want to risk it. It's just going to get hotter over the next week. August is the hottest month of the year. Don't play games. If that AC is acting like it's struggling, it's because it probably is. Get in touch with our friends at Comer and Southern. I'm in the Clark Ford Studios. Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for my buddy Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you are looking for. He will send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest is up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that is hop into a Clark Ford today. Great service after the sale, great product. Corey and the people at Clark Ford, they want to be your car guy. They want to be your truck guy. They'll prove to you what that means when you make the call. 662-257-1900. I'm going to open up the phone lines in a little bit. That's brought to you by Campbell Clinic. It's the Campbell Clinic Hotline. From fractures and sports injuries to complex spine and limb conditions, the pediatric orthopedic team at Campbell Clinic in Oxford is the only specialized pediatric orthopedic team in North Mississippi providing expert care for growing bodies. So visit campbellclinicoxford.com to schedule an appointment or call 901-759-3111. This is the final Blue Sky Live of the week. It's been a full week. Chase Parham's been on vacation. Your boy has filled in with a lot of guests that have joined on the Campbell Clinic Hotline over the course of the week. Gabe DeArmond, Ty Windish, Ryland Stiles, Jeffrey Wright. I've had a couple of McCready and Siskis. Tyler had Mind on My Money with Martin Palomo today. So a lot of content at MPW, but this is the last Blue Sky of the week. Blue Sky Live, I should say. Stop at Blue Sky whenever you're traveling in, out, or around the state of Mississippi. You see a Blue Sky, that's a safe place to pull over, fill up the tank, stop in, take a break, get off the road for a minute, enjoy a plate lunch, ribs, great sodas, beers, snacks, whatever you're looking for. It's always going to be clean, always going to be convenient, always going to be friendly at Blue Sky all over the state of Mississippi. And we're also brought to you by Mint Mobile. You know what doesn't belong in your epic summer plans? Getting burned by your old wireless bill. While you're planning beach trips, barbecues, and 3-day weekends, your wireless bill should be the last thing holding you back. That's why I made the switch to Mint Mobile. With Mint, you can get the coverage and speed you're used to, but for way less money. And for a limited time, Mint Mobile is offering 3 months of unlimited premium wireless service for $15 a month. So while your friends are sweating over data coverages, overages, and surprise charges, you'll be chilling, literally and financially. So say goodbye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you. All plans come with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan. Bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. Ditch overpriced wireless. Get 3 months of unlimited service from Mint Mobile for $15 a month. This year, skip breaking a sweat and breaking the bank. Get this new customer offer and your 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/MPW. That's mintmobile.com/MPW. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 a month. Limited time, new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. All right, so open up the phones. Numbers on the screen right there. 662-426-1464. The big news in college sports today is Donald Trump, the president of the United States of America, has issued an executive order. What's in that executive order, you might ask? Well, I'm going to pull that up. I'm going to find it. Ross Dellinger broke the news earlier today. And this is from the White House. So these are not my words. These are the words of the President of the United States. He says, saving college sports. The headline actually is Fact Sheet. President Donald J. Trump saves college sports. I'm sorry. I mean, this is ridiculous. It says today, President Donald J. Trump signed an executive order to protect student athletes and collegiate athletic scholarships and opportunities, including in Olympic and non-revenue programs and the unique American institution of college sports. The order requires the preservation and, where possible, expansion of opportunities for scholarships and collegiate athletic competition in women's and non-revenue sports. The order prohibits third-party pay-for-play payments to collegiate athletes. This does not apply to legitimate fair market value compensation that a third party provides to an athlete, such as for a brand endorsement. That obviously is huge. If that sticks, that's big. My prediction, it won't stick. But regardless, the order provides that any revenue sharing permitted between universities and collegiate athletes should be implemented in a manner that protects women and non-revenue sports. There's your Title IX piece. The order directs the Secretary of Labor and the National Labor Relations Board to clarify the status of student athletes in order to preserve non-revenue sports and the irreplaceable educational and developmental opportunities that college sports provide. The order directs the Attorney General and the Federal Trade Commission to take appropriate actions to protect student athletes' rights and safeguard the long-term stability of college athletics from endless, debilitating antitrust and other legal challenges. And the order directs the Assistant to the President for Domestic Policy and the Director of the White House Office of Public Liaison to consult with the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic teams and other organizations to protect the role of college athletics in developing world-class American athletes. Goes on to say, recognizing the importance of college sports, President Trump recognizes the critical role of college sports in fostering leadership, education, and community pride, the need to address urgent threats to its future, including endless litigation seeking to eliminate the basic rules of college sports, escalating private donor pay-for-play payments in football and basketball that divert resources from other sports and reduce competitive balance, and the common sense reality that college sports are different than professional sports. He goes on to list some facts about college sports, things of that nature. Says the lack of enforceable rules has turned what were supposed to be legitimate third-party NIL opportunities for players into pay-for-play bidding wars amongst university boosters, with some universities and their outside supporters reportedly spending more than $50 million per year on fielding rosters, mostly for the revenue-generating sports like football. Football players on one team will receive $35 to $40 million in 2025 alone. Says given these enormous escalating demands on resources to compete in the revenue-generating sports, there are serious concerns regarding the future of non-revenue sports, women's sports, and Olympic sports, as private donor money is increasingly concentrated in these third-party pay-for-play deals. Excuse me. This dynamic also reduces competition and parity by creating an oligarchy of teams that can buy the best players, including the best players from less wealthy programs at the end of each season, given the lack of restrictions on transferring teams each year. Without federal action to restore order, again, this is quoting from the White House, ongoing lawsuits and a patchwork of state NIL laws risk exploiting student athletes and eroding the opportunities provided by collegiate sports. Predictably, that has been met with a great amount of derision, a great amount of questioning. A lot of people just simply don't believe. And we'll see. Stuart Mandel says the fight over whether collectives are a valid business that I wrote about last week has already been resolved. The collectives won. That was a couple days ago. Actually, that's outdated now at this point. No longer the case. As of this moment, the collectives have not won. This will go to court, clearly, fast. It's my knee-jerk reaction to this is the following. Trump is trying. This started with Tommy Tuberville back a couple months ago, urging him to put out an executive order. There's no governing body that has found the secret sauce in preventing pay for play. And let's be clear just for a moment. You guys know this. If you've been following this podcast network, me, Chase, Jeffrey, Tyler Siskey, we've all been saying this. The original idea for NIL, name, image, likeness, was essentially, and number one, this is NCAA's fault. Let's be clear. NCAA's fault. Because had they just backed off the strict adherence to the amateur model, let players make some compensation for jersey sales, for video games, we might not be where we are today. And I emphasize the word might. But what you have instead is not NIL, with a few exceptions. I mean, there are some players who have done commercials that are legitimate business endorsements on a national level. There have been some players, we've had them here at MPW Digital, who have done small deals with local businesses that put some money in their pocket that was true NIL. Player shows. We had Chance Campbell, Davison Igbinosun, Troy Brown, Mason Brooks, Peyton Chatney. We've done shows with all those guys. Those were all legitimate NIL deals where we did contracts, ran it through compliance, the whole thing. The money basically would go from the company to me to the player. The player would, in the service the player would provide is he would help host a podcast on MPW Digital. So there was an exchange of goods for compensation. That's what it was supposed to be. That's not what it is. What the players discovered was that they didn't want to do NIL. They didn't want to go have to do commercials, endorsement. They didn't want to go do, autograph signings. They didn't want to have to go to events. They didn't want to have to make public appearances. They just wanted to get paid. And via collectives, that's exactly what they got. And so schools began, through collectives, recruiting players using collective money to pay salaries, which is pay for play. Pay for play becomes a money battle, and the deepest pockets win. The more organized pockets won. And there were schools that weren't the deepest pockets. Ole Miss, Missouri, that stepped up dramatically. But it's becoming unsustainable. So what you have is, instead, you have NIL Go and other NCAA sanctioned bodies, Deloitte, trying to enforce a structure that prevents pay for play, where you get rev share that was settled in the House settlement, which is salary, basically, for lack of a better word, that is paid to players. It's dispersed the way a university decides it wants to, mostly to football. What you were starting to see across the country was all of the money was going to football, a little bit to men's basketball, a little bit to baseball, a scant amount to women's basketball, and at a few places, Oklahoma comes to mind, they gave a little scattering to softball. But it wasn't anything, quote, equal, nor should it be. That's another topic. Those guardrails that got fought, they got shot down just last week. I mean, just Tyler referenced this on McCready and Siskey earlier today. The rules that were in place on Monday weren't in place on Tuesday. The rules that were in place on Tuesday weren't completely in place on Wednesday, because the Wednesday rules sort of reverted back to Monday. And now you have the President of the United States issuing an executive order on Thursday, which basically means college football and men's college basketball coaches report to work tomorrow having absolutely no idea what the landscape is. And a week from tomorrow, August the 1st, is the first day of the official offer period. It's the first day where you can actually send out to players scholarship offers. Well, a lot of schools want to be able to put rev share offers in those offers. Tell a kid, hey, this is what we're willing to pay you via rev share. And then, there are some NIL opportunities that could equal this. Well, now you really can't do that as of this moment, because you don't know whether this executive order is going to hold. In a world where it holds, you can't really promise NIL. Because here's the truth. There's not much true NIL out there. Not real NIL. Yeah, there's some mom and pop businesses that'll do little things. But these guys have been conditioned to expect $250,000 in NIL, which is essentially pay for play. So you have, if you break this down over like a 105-man roster, if everybody gets an equal share of rev share based on the numbers that are out there, everybody's going to get $130,000. Well, it's not going to work like that. Everyone's not getting 130. Some guys are getting a lot more than 130. Some guys are getting a whole lot less than 130. This is football I'm talking about. And if you can't produce true NIL, meaning a company, Coca-Cola sponsors, they want you to endorse a product. If you can't make real NIL and the collectives can't distribute, quote, NIL funds without real NIL, this is going to be a major problem. Now, how does this get enforced? Who knows? No one knows. Does this hold up in a court? No one knows. I mean, literally, no one knows. But we'll see. I mean, we're about to find out. All right, let's see. I'll take some questions in the chat. Kyle, best rapid hydration cure? Man, I don't know. You just want to drink electrolytes. It's really hot outside. Hayden, the roof of Thompson High School in Alabaster was quite hot today. You deserve a beer. Absolutely. Get a beer. Get a Parish Brewing Company beer. Highly recommend. Pescador, Ghost in the Machine, Dr. Juice, many others. Let's see. Grind says, I wouldn't expect this type of order from a Republican. I mean, not to get political here, but Donald Trump's the furthest thing in the world from a traditional Republican. Flippin' Reb says he's got slightly more important things on his plate than this. I agree. I think this is an overstep. That seems to be the consistent answer, that this is an overstep on his part. And if that's the we'll see whether we'll see whether a court rules that or not. I have no idea. I'm not up on constitutional law on this. I'm going to reach out to some people over the weekend and get some opinions, but there's a lot of confusion out there today. Hey, caller, who's this?
What's up, Neal? It's Austin.
Hey, Austin, how are you, man?
Man, I'm making it. How you doing?
Man, I'm good. Good. Just wrapping up a week of podcast. I've been solo all week. I've been all alone at MPW Digital. You know, it's just been me and Tyler a little bit. Chase is over there with Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and Ariel and Sleeping Beauty and Prince Charming and all those people. I guess those are Disney people. I'm not sure. I'm not a big Disney person.
Hey, you know, all due respect to Chase, and I love the two of y'all together. I always really like the solo shows or the guest shows, so I appreciate all the stuff this week.
Oh, thank you.
My question, and I wanted to talk about this because y'all hit it on the show today with Tyler. You mentioned how you think that the ACC is on its last legs, that it's essentially on death's door, and it's got a checkout date that's known and everybody knows it's coming.
Yes.
My question is this.
Well, let me rephrase that real quick. I mean, the ACC as we know it, right? In much the same way as like I guess there's technically a Pac-12, but it's not the Pac-12 that we recognize, right? I mean, it's right. The ACC as we've known it all these years is absolutely has been diagnosed with a untreatable disease.
Right. Like that segues into my next question. So obviously, whenever stuff like this happens, and I'm like you, I've been calling this for the last probably like year or so that this is coming, and it's not like, and people kind of deflect and don't want to talk about it because they think they don't have to deal with it for a couple of years. But it seems like every off season there's some realignment stuff, like we saw this week with Memphis.
Yeah.
If I told you that the ACC kind of has a soft implosion before 2030, would you buy it?
Yes. The machination to make it happen is there. They have to have enough of them willing to basically come together and say, okay, you go here, you go here, you go here, you go here. We all agree to do this. Let's all basically exercise our opt-out now, and you basically dissolve the league. There's some exit fees and stuff, and you'd have to give some punitive fees to the remaining schools. But yes, I would totally, the example that you just gave me, I would completely buy it. And at the risk of being super repetitive and hang tight, it's just because the schools that can get out, right, that have a place to land, especially if you can land in the SEC or the Big Ten, you simply have to do it. The money is so different. The security is so different. You don't know where things are going at the end of the current TV contracts that the SEC has, that the Big Ten has. You don't know where things are going at the end of this college football playoff contract that expires after this season. Yeah, you got to go get some security. I mean, the name of this show is Hand Raise Guys. If you're the hand raise guy at North Carolina or Clemson or Florida State or Miami or Virginia, and there's a world where you can get out and get into a more secure league, you got to do it.
100% agree. I just, like, for me, I've always been of the mindset that the Southeastern Conference having no presence in the state of North Carolina has always felt really weird to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, look,
and
they've coveted North Carolina for the longest time.
100%.
I mean, coveted it. I mean, I don't even know that the SEC would deny that, really. I mean, they probably just wouldn't comment, but they wouldn't say, no, that's false. I mean, the people in the league, that's a school that checks so many boxes for the SEC. Huge brand, big academic school, which makes some of the other powerful academic schools in the league. And this isn't saying that schools that aren't, like Ole Miss, for example. No, I mean, Ole Miss is a perfect. It has a lot of wonderful academic offerings, but nobody looks at Ole Miss and goes, or Arkansas or Mississippi State or a bunch of SEC schools and goes, oh yeah, that's an academic power. But there are some schools in the SEC, Georgia, Florida, Texas, Vanderbilt, that are kind of viewed as prestigious academic schools that adding North Carolina to it kind of makes everybody feel good. They check all the boxes athletically. They check the big basketball box. They just, there's a lot there, and then they expand the footprint up the East Coast, like you mentioned. I think most people view North Carolina as a southern state. It just makes all the sense in the world.
And selfishly, as an Ole Miss fan, I want that game for a uniform matchup alone. like that's what I want. Like, I just think that makes too much sense.
Yeah, and if you're a North Carolina, if you're a North Carolina fan, the opportunity, yeah, your football team's going to take it. They're going to take some beatings at first, right? No question. But you have an opportunity as a North Carolina fan, if you're a season ticket holder in Chapel Hill, you go from having games against Wake and Syracuse and Georgia Tech to now you got Florida, Tennessee, and Alabama coming to town. I mean, that's a total. I mean, that is a total game changer. And the SEC is now a dominant basketball league. I mean, can you imagine North Carolina, Kentucky playing an SEC game? You think CBS or ABC is going to pick that one up? Come on.
Oh, 100%.
I mean,
that's prime time every single time.
Every single. There was a lot of interest when Ole Miss played North Carolina. That was a big deal for Ole Miss fans to play North Carolina. I know it was the tournament. It would have been a big deal to play Iona, but it was a bigger deal to play North Carolina. North Carolina's basketball wise, that's a blue blood brand, man. I mean, it just it's huge. Yeah, for the SEC's a no brainer.
Beating North Carolina in basketball is the equivalent of beating Alabama in football.
Agreed.
Like that's or something to that.
Yep.
Like that just I thought that was so cool when we got a hold of them. And yeah, we were technically supposed to win, but yeah,
sure.
it was cool. And to be honest with you, there have been moments like in other sports, like they'll play South Carolina in football. I'm just talking about North Carolina, for example.
Yeah.
Like they'll play South Carolina in football, and they'll play LSU in baseball in the postseason, and they'll play an SEC team in March Madness, and I hate to say it like this, they kind of already feel like one of them.
Well, and some of their fans, have noticed it too. Like some of the games they've played, they had a baseball super regional a couple of years ago. I think it was the year that Ole Miss won the title. They played Arkansas in a super regional in Chapel Hill, and Arkansas brought a ton of people. And I know this just from some baseball contacts that I have, that North Carolina looked around and was like, man, this is a good fit for us.
And the second part of my question is obviously, to me, I think the SEC's golden goose is North Carolina in this whole deal. And we've talked about that. And to a lesser extent, I think they'd probably roll up the red carpet for somebody like Virginia too.
Yeah. I mean, Virginia was the rumor for a long time. I don't know whether that's changed. I mean, there's some talk about Clemson that kind of gets whispered. I've just always heard there's pushback against Clemson. But now, again, the landscape has changed, and maybe the way people view some of these things at the highest level has changed, because obviously it won't be just the SEC making the decision. It will be along with its media partners, because it only makes sense if the media partners are willing to ante up enough more money to not cut into the pieces of pie.
I agree with that.
I mean, basically, to finish the pie analogy, the league's only going to do it if the TV networks just bake a bigger pie where everybody still gets the same piece of pie. They're not going to do it if suddenly you're not getting as many bites of pie. You're getting a smaller piece of pie. No one's going to do that in the current landscape where you're trying to figure out how the hell you do all this rev share. Yeah, no one's going to do that. So it's got to be more money. That's the reason for the whole ninth game conversation. The ninth game conversation is simply about money. Period. That's all it's about.
ESPN makes more money when Oklahoma plays Texas as opposed to Oklahoma playing DePaul.
Yeah, or Oklahoma. 100%. Oklahoma plays Ole Miss instead of Oklahoma playing Southern Illinois in football. These are football decisions, by the way. This is not about basketball. This is football.
Right.
The networks don't want the Ole Miss Georgia State game. They want an Ole Miss Iowa game. They want Oklahoma to play Nebraska. They don't want Oklahoma to play, I don't know, Central Connecticut. They don't. Those are horrible TV games. Now the coaches like them because they're guaranteed wins. And I get it. I understand that. But at some point, and this is where all this negotiation is right now. This is literally, the ninth game thing is going to happen. This is just both sides are kind of playing chicken against one another until the money's right.
I agree. And the second part of my question kind of coattails, and if and like I said, if this turns into a bigger topic, I'll gladly just hang up and let you keep going. I'll keep listening to the show because I'll free up for other callers. But I did want your opinion on this. I think obviously the TV networks are running college athletics to a point where it's borderline insane, and there's obviously no way to control it as of right now, at least that I can think of. I think, like, obviously a lot of these realignment deals are done because of TV networks, but another thing that TV networks control obviously is advertisements and TV timeouts during time of play and stuff, and obviously those just get worse every single year. I feel bad for the poor guy that comes on the 25-yard line and has the big clock and the red shirt and it says 3 minutes 25. Like, everybody in the stadium unanimously hates this guy, and he's just doing his job. I feel bad for him.
And apparently the guy that does it at the Ole Miss games, is a super guy, because I jokingly talked about how I just hate that guy sometimes. And I think it was one of his daughters reached out to me. She was very playful and nice, but she was like, "It's my dad, and he's a great guy. We all love him." And I ended up kind of communicating with the guy, and he couldn't have been nicer. I asked him if he could come on the show, and I don't think he got clearance to come on the show. But yeah, you're right. I mean, that guy, I feel sorry for that guy when he stands out there for 2 minutes and 50 seconds, because everybody out there just wants to just take the sign and throw it out of the stadium.
I just hate it. But to the point I was making, like, the TV networks control the sport so much that they control the advertisements that run on these games. And college football is the only thing in America that even comes close to what the NFL ratings do every single week.
Yep.
And my question is this: is there a way or a future that somebody like a Greg Sankey or somebody like whoever the Big Ten guy is can make it to where we can sort of, I don't even know a good way to phrase it, sort of kind of edge some of that time off? Like, because in the NFL basically tells the media networks what to do and when to do it, but college football feels kind of beholden to them.
Yeah.
But if you watch a sport like the NBA or Major League Baseball, the ad times on those games are basically nothing compared to college athletics. And my question is this: is there a way that in the next, during the next media negotiations, that can get fixed, or is that just something that's never going to happen?
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's a formula that plays out Sundays all day long, week after week after week in the fall. I mean, you see how the NFL game goes, and the NFL is pretty damn structured. They kick off right at noon. And for the most part, they're finished by about 3:05. A handful of games start at 3:05. The national game starts at 3:25. I mean, the games fit a window unless they go to overtime or something, with rare exception. So, yeah, I mean, the formula is right there. Are they willing to adopt that formula? History says no. The college game's slower. It's you're never going to have. It's not going to be executed as well as the pro game, because obviously the pro games are full of pro players and the college games are not full of pro players. But yeah, you could shorten the TV timeouts. You could shorten the halftime. You could do some of those things. Not all of those things would be wildly popular with college fans. But yeah, you could. There's absolutely a way to stop having 4-hour games. It's absolutely. But are they willing to do that? Are they, like they added the review thing last year, which wasn't supposed to be a go to timeout, and it always goes to timeout. Almost always. I mean, if you ever watch a college game where the first quarter starts going really fast, you almost see a panic in the second quarter. The second quarter goes an hour and a half because they start adding on all the TV timeouts. I don't know why that is. I guess they're just fulfilling contracts. They're trying to maximize revenue. It's not as regimented as the NFL. An NFL broadcast, you pretty much know, like you pretty much know exactly how long the commercial break's going to be, when the commercial break is coming. You know how long halftime's going to last. You know when the game's going to kick. You can pretty much count on the timing of an NFL game, regardless of the score, regardless of the style of play. College game's just not that way, and I don't know that that's a big enough priority for them to change. Yeah, Grind makes a great point. Grind makes a great point. He says NFL also does advertising, small commercials during the game, the spotlight, whatever TV show. Yeah, they'll throw that in the broadcast. Yeah, the college game could absolutely. Yeah, my point is, there's a model. It's right there. You don't have to make anything up. It's right there. Follow it. And now all the players are getting paid. That excuse is out the window. I mean, you could literally follow the NFL clock and have an NFL game, but a lot of college coaches don't want that. They want more snaps. They want more this, and they always do the whole, well, don't you want more football than less football? And look, most people do. The people that kind of get screwed at a college game are the people that go to the game. That's 100%. That's the people that get screwed. It's still a really good TV product. I mean, you get, if you're sitting at home, you don't really care if there's an extra TV timeout. Hell, you run downstairs and, grab another beer, right? But if you're in the stadium and it's 94 degrees, man, those 3-minute and 20-something second TV timeouts suck. I mean, I said this. I almost do this reluctantly because I don't go to college games as a, quote, fan. I went with my girls, I guess it was last year, to the LSU-Arkansas game. It was kind of hot. TV timeouts took forever. The line to get a beer was so long that it wasn't worth standing in it. And I was like, man, this sucks. And they were like, oh, we thought you'd want to come. We would have rather gone to the bar. And I was like, oh, for God's sake, I'd much rather go to the bar. I mean, I don't know that they're really thinking about the whole stadium experience, the TV people. I don't think they care. I think their whole thing is about maximizing their revenues, period.
I sat and bought Hemingway Stadium last year for every home game, and I can tell you right now, it sucks. It sucks. And not only that, like, the worst part, like the Ole Miss Georgia game, for an example, last year, like, the primetime games are 10 times worse because more people are watching, more people are ads are designated to show more at that time. So instead of a 2-minute 25 TV timeout, it's 3 minutes and 25 seconds. Like, yeah. I saw one time the poor guy had 4 minutes on the clock.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I saw one that was like, it was like 3:50, and I was like, oh my God. I mean, I'm the guy in the press box that everybody hates because it'll pop up, and I'm like, again? And I'm in the press box. It's air conditioned. It's air conditioned. I've got good Wi-Fi. I can turn on another game. I can turn on a baseball playoff game on my computer. I mean, I can kind of pass the 4 minutes. At some point in the game, I'm starting to write. I'm working on notebooks. I have things to pass the time. If you're just sitting in the stands, baking, at one of those games, shoot, man, and then on top of that, the game is against Georgia State. I mean, I get it. Like when that Ole Miss Georgia game, like nobody cared about the length of the TV timeouts because that was a badass game, right? If you were in Baton Rouge for LSU Ole Miss, I mean, I know LSU won the game and that kind of pissed off Ole Miss people, but if you were in that stadium during that game, nobody was really hung up about the TV timeouts because that game was kick ass. That was awesome. But for every one of those games, you get a bad game. Those bad games, man, 4 minutes just to sit there in the heat or in the rain or in the cold or whatever, over and over and over. And then from the players, the flow of the game, you can tell it impacts games sometimes.
For example, if Ole Miss and Washington State play each other this year, and Ole Miss is up 3 scores in the third quarter, and that game's going to start at 11:45, and let's say it's like 92 degrees out, and
Yep.
you're up 3 touchdowns in the third quarter, and they go 3 minutes 25 seconds. I'm like, who is this for?
Yeah. Well,
Why are we doing this?
Yeah, and that's when the fans leave and people criticize the fans. I'm like, stop, man. Come on. I mean, that's bullshit. It is. I mean, I'm not picking on Lane here because other coaches do it too, but I hate when they do that because I'm like, it's not their job to stay 4 quarters. It's your job to entertain them for 4 quarters. It's reality.
100% it's reality. Last question, and I'll let other people call in. I always love calling into the show. Love you.
Thank you.
Chase. Love all of y'all.
We appreciate you very much.
Dovetailing into the first question, we've talked about North Carolina being a potential SEC addition if and when the ACC Big East itself. My question is this. In a hypothetical world, because they're not just going to take North Carolina, they're going to take more.
Yeah.
If they ever did go from 16 schools to 20 schools and they added 4 and they were all strictly from the ACC, who do you think they take and why? And with that, I'll let you go. I appreciate you. Have a good one.
Thank you. First of all, I don't think they'd go to 20. That just feels like a really big number. I'd buy 18, but I'll answer your question. If you told me 4 and they're all from the ACC, North Carolina, I think they would add Virginia if Virginia was willing to come. Virginia gets hung up on the academic thing. Here are the ones they would consider. North Carolina, Virginia. There was always talk about NC State and Virginia Tech for a long time. That was in a different era. And there's a world where that's changed a little bit. I think they would take Duke if they had to take Duke to get North Carolina. I consistently don't believe that the SEC wants Florida State, and I don't think the SEC wants Miami. So if you told me they had to take 4, I would say North Carolina, Virginia, NC State, and then either Clemson or Duke. Hey, caller, who do we have?
What's up, Neal? Tupelo. You take Clemson at that time, don't you?
Yeah, I think if you're taking 4, you take Clemson. I think if you're taking 2, you probably don't. There's a lot. There's always been a lot of push.
Well, if you take Clemson, you can spin it to the natural rival with South Carolina, and you can kind of spin it to like a Clemson-Alabama semi-rivalry from that era of playoff runs. I mean, I think that would be the closest fit if you had to take 4.
I mean, you get the Clemson, Georgia would be a natural rivalry. Clemson, South Carolina, of course, would be a big rivalry. I mean, Clemson, Auburn get sort of lumped together because they're very similar schools. But I don't know, man. I mean, if you told me that South Carolina pushed back really hard about Clemson, I would buy it.
Yeah, maybe Georgia Tech, but I mean, I don't know how many. I don't know how many schools like Georgia Tech you want in the SEC. It feels like I guess NC State's close to that type of.
They would not add. They
would
not add Georgia Tech. No way. NC State.
I don't think Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I mean, Georgia. It's just it's not even worth conversing about it because Georgia Tech's not. That ship. No, nope. The pushback
Well, Neil,
you would get for Georgia Tech from Georgia, from Auburn. Oh hell, the whole league. They'd push back on that hard. No way.
yeah, well, Neil, the Cardinals are done.
Yeah.
I think it's over.
Yeah, I read it.
But hey, look, here's the thing, and I got a funny bit in a second. But here's the thing: for the non-MLB fans in the stream that's listening or will listen whenever, when you change your general manager in MLB in baseball, professional baseball, that's the closest thing in comparison to changing your head coach in a college football environment. So I know that Ollie's the one that's putting them in their positions and all of that, but he has no control over who's on the team.
Yeah.
And so he's almost like a coordinator. And so if we're not going to make the playoffs, if it's just destined that we're not, and we're not at all, I'd rather know today than August 15th when it's too late.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
because now you can just unload the roster. I mean, there's no, you know what you have moving forward. It's pretty evident. And there's only one wild card person on your team that you're kind of back and forth on it if you want to keep, and that's probably Lars Nootbaar. I think they should trade Ryan Helsley, Nolan Arenado, and they should at least consider the idea of trading Wilson Contreras. And
I'm pulling up standings right now.
They're like 5 games back out of the wild card now, but they just lost 2-3 to Colorado.
So St. Louis is 3.5 out of the final wild card spot. They're right now it'd be the Cubs would be the first wild card, followed by the Phillies, and then the Padres. And then you have San Francisco, Cincinnati, both ahead of the Cardinals. Arizona's 5.5 back, fading. Miami's 6.5 back, fading. Yeah, I mean, if you're St. Louis, I mean, I don't know how anybody watching the Cardinals could think the Cardinals are going to catch the Giants, frankly. I mean,
what's our record right now? Are we 51-49?
52-51. I mean, you're a game over. You're a game over 500. I mean, 3.5 out. I mean, there's another week until the deadline. I mean, I don't really know who all they've got that's going to bring back much prospect capital. The only thing I would say if I were a Cardinal fan is this this is the hard part, right? Because I think this applies to a lot of teams. And I've heard other baseball people say this. I think you have to ask 2 questions of yourself before you decide whether you're selling or holding at the deadline. Because if you're St. Louis, you're certainly not buying at the deadline. So if you're St. Louis, are you selling? Are you selling or holding? So here are the 2 questions. 1, what does it mean to me to make the playoffs? Because in this case, making the playoffs means that you're almost certainly making the playoffs at the bottom of the wild card. You're going to have to go on the road someplace and win 2 games against another team to get to a playoff setting where you might get 1 certainly and maybe 2 playoff games at your place. What's that worth? And
that's your peak.
And then question 2.
And that's your peak. That's best case.
Yeah, and then question 2 is, are you a team that is capable of making the World Series? And for St. Louis, the answer is no.
Right. No, I agree. The problem is out of nowhere, which someone could see it coming, but out of nowhere, Eric Fetty and Miles Michaelis has always been bad, but he even got worse. Miles Michaelis and Andre Palante, all 3 out of your 5 rotational starters all decided to have like record lows within the same stretch of time. I mean, Eric Fetty was in that trade with Tommy Edman, and now Eric Fetty's been designated for assignment.
Yeah.
And so you can't name me one playoff team that's worth anything, like a World Series run, that has 3 of their 5 rotational starters be really, really bad. I mean, you really need 4 of your 5 to be really good.
It's why there's a question in the stream about if I were the Cubs, would I trade Owen Cassell, the outfielder who's major league ready? Would I trade him in at the deadline? And I have a very unpopular take as it pertains to the Cubs among Cubs fans. It's why I don't fit with Cubs fans. I still love the Cubs. I still cheer for the Cubs, but I don't fit with Cubs fans because I don't think this team's a championship contender. I don't. I've watched them a decent amount here in the last month. Not a ton, but enough. And they've got some good young players. I mean, Pete Crow Armstrong's fun. I think Nico Horner's a solid player. I think Dansby Swanson's a fine player. I actually think Michael Busch is a really good young player. Tucker's good, but there's no assurances that he's going to stay.
Right.
They've played a couple of months now without Miguel Amaya, who's starting to work his way back into playing, and I think Miguel Amaya is a good young player. I actually think the young third baseman Shaw has shown some signs that he's going to be a good player. I think people giving up on him halfway through his rookie year is insanity. They've got some good pitching. Shota Imanaga. Cade Horton looked really good the other day, even in a loss. They're going to get Justin Steele back. But I don't watch the Cubs and go, oh, this is a team that could win the World Series. I don't. And so my answer is, would I trade Owen Cassell? No, I would not. I really wouldn't. I mean, the Cubs don't have enough pitching. The Cubs are not as good as Milwaukee. The Cubs are not as good as the Dodgers. The Cubs are not as good as the Phillies. I would not, if I were the Cubs, I wouldn't do it. But you watch, they're going to trade away a large portion of the farm over the course of the next week to take some questionable arms in hopes that they catch lightning in a bottle. And the truth is about their team, not to make this about the Cubs and not the Cardinals, but it's to your point. The Cubs got a lot of fortuitous bullpen outings over the course of the last couple of months, and those are starting to come back to earth. Like, they're regressing to the mean. Not to pick on an Ole Miss guy, but Drew Pomeranz was great, and now his stuff is not as good, and he's getting hit. And so, I mean, if I'm the Cardinals, who's what, 6.5 games behind the Cubs? I mean, yeah, something like that. 6 games or something. Yeah, I probably sell. But in St. Louis, selling is going to be wildly unpopular when you're still within striking distance of a playoff spot.
It is, and I want to change the subject in a second, but that's exactly what John Moselak's point is going to be. When we get to the trade deadline and we're a 500 team and we don't make a move, or if anything, we sell a young player to get an older potential bullpen arm, his response is going to be, well, only 3 games out, and we still have a series left against the Reds or whoever.
Oh, if I'm them, I do not buy. I mean, I might hang tight with what I've got and just finish the season and see if we catch lightning in a bottle. But no, I do not trade young players for some rent an arm. No. That team doesn't have the starting pitching that is necessary to win a 7-game series against the Phillies, against the Brewers, against the Dodgers. It's not that. No. I would take his phone away before I let him do that.
Well, and if you're built to win, I think at this point you have to make the determination on who's running this team right now, because it's very obvious to every team in the league that Chaim Bloom is taking over the last day of the season, the moment the World Series ends. So if you're letting him make the trades, you need to go ahead and do it now so Chaim Bloom can prepare for a team next year if that's the route you're going.
Yeah, but don't you think
want to have a civil?
Don't you think he has input right now? I mean, Moselak, in fairness to Moselak.
So I'm confident that Chaim Bloom drafted he was the one that picked our players in this year's draft. Look, I know I'm an Ole Miss fan. I'm a big Ole Miss fan, and I know there's a bunch of Ole Miss fans in here. But you don't think that I'm going to be rooting for Liam Doyle to be the best pitcher of all time now? I mean, he plays for my team.
Sure.
And that Liam Doyle was not a John Mozeliak pick. I mean, I knew the moment he was selected, I was like, I believe make that pick. Because when was the last time the Cardinals took an edgy, cocky first-round pitcher early in the draft who, I mean, you just don't see that from the quote, well, we do things the right way around here type of teams. And
well,
so,
that's what I was gonna say about Mozeliak is, look, I'm not a Cardinal guy, but Mozeliak bleeds Cardinal red. He's not going to do anything he's not doing anything to sabotage that franchise. He's been the GM of that franchise forever. I mean, the whole who's in charge thing that's not an issue there. I mean, he's not making any big move in the next 7 days without the approval of or at least the input of the people who are going to be replacing him.
No, in about 5 years, maybe a little bit later, because Cardinals fans they hold grudges. But there's going to come a day when we really realize that John Mozeliak was a phenomenal GM. I mean, most of my life, the expectation was make the NLCS. And so, I mean, and he drafted really well. I mean, the Cardinals have never spent top 7 money. I mean, that's contrary to belief. They've always spent middle of the pack money, but they just drafted well and they knew when to sell players. I mean, if you go back and look, Albert Pujols walking after the 2011 World Series, that magical run, at the time it was upsetting, but if you go back, I mean, it was smart that the Cardinals didn't give him that much money. He didn't play that. He wasn't that great in Los Angeles. And so, I mean, he's made good decisions. I'm very thankful for him. Obviously, I mean, we've been to multiple World Series, won multiple, and all that. But anyway, there's a funny. I listened to Bernie Miklasz, which you said you know Bernie and his work.
Yep.
So you know how old Bernie is now, right? I mean, he's like late 60s probably.
I was going to say he's pushing
early 70s.
Pushing 70 or maybe a little beyond. Yeah.
So he does a daily show on Sports Hub STL, and he writes a column a day. Well, it is so funny because he has a Blue Chew ad, and he goes, you know how Bertie is. He's just kind of straightforward guy, and so he's reading this Blue Chew ad, and it cracks me up every time. I mean, they make him say like, "Guys, when you get to my age," type of stuff, and it just cracks me up. I mean, it is hilarious.
He's 66, by the way.
66. Good for Bernie. He's a good guy. Well, anyway, all right, Neal, I'll let you go. Hope you have a good night, good rest of the show, and football season starts next week. So have a good night. Go Cardinals.
Thanks, Toot. Appreciate you. Yeah, when you look at the standings in baseball, phone lines are open. Look at the standings in baseball. I think this is that time when a lot of teams make the mistake of, hey, we're close to we're in the race, or we're in the wild card race. I think you have to ask the second question: are we a World Series contender? And I think that's where you have to be really objective. I think you have to really look at your team and say, is this a team that can make the World Series? And if it's not, you don't need to make big farm-altering changes to your organization. Now, if you think you can win a title, whatever it takes. But if you don't, and that's where I think that's where great management comes in as opposed to average management. The ability to look at a team that's in the race and go, yeah, we're good, but we're not that good. And that's hard. That's really hard to do, but the great ones can do it. Hey, who do we have, caller?
Hey, it's Steve from Greenville.
Hey, Steve, what's up, man?
Not much. Sorry I missed the show last week.
That's okay.
Real quick, Ross Dellinger wrote an article about a year and a half ago about why the Pac-12 broke up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you read it.
I probably did. I don't recall it right this moment, but yeah.
Apparently, one professor at Stanford told the president of Stanford that he thought that without USC and UCLA, that the Pac-12 was worth $58 million per school.
Okay.
and there was nobody in the room that was going to question the president of Stanford when he suggested that. In fact, if you go back, the Pac-12 was run by Stanford and Cal.
Yeah.
Going back to almost the founding.
Hey, Steve, that's why you need a hand raised guy in the room who is completely unafraid to question conventional wisdom.
Well, I'm going to add one more thing.
Yep.
When there was an article in the newspaper in Arizona about how Arizona and Arizona State ended up in the Pac-12, and the Pac-12 wanted Arizona. Arizona wouldn't come without Arizona State back in the 70s. The 4 northern schools wanted Arizona State if that was the case. Stanford and Cal did not. So the 4 northern schools, instead of standing up to Stanford and Cal, went to USC and UCLA and talked to them and got them to stand up to Stanford and Cal. In fact, USC threatened to leave if they didn't let them in. And UCLA said they would go with them.
Wow.
USC and UCLA were the hand raised guys in the conference. If the 4 northern schools had a problem, they went to them and got them to talk to Stanford and Cal.
Interesting.
And so when you talk about the major conferences breaking away, it's going to come down to. I mean, I think that says a lot about how these presidents think. When it comes to breaking off, it's going to come when the money outweighs the social pressure.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, for sure. And that's I think we're basically there, and the new TV contract is going to push that over the top. Because the disparity the disparity between the SEC deal and the Big Ten deal is they're about to those contracts expire fairly soon. Everyone's going to the new money's coming in. The college football playoff contract's about to expire. They're going to do a new one. There's a lot there. The ACC is not going to add to its value. No one's going to pay more for the ACC than they're paying today. So the disparity is only going to grow. And if you have an off-ramp that's remotely available to you, you're going to take it.
Yeah, but these presidents, North Carolina likes socializing with the president of Virginia. I mean,
yeah, sure. Oh, yeah. I mean, North Carolina's going to have to hold its nose a little bit, no doubt. But boy, it's easy to hold your nose when there's a whole bunch of money filling your pocket.
Yep.
And their
right,
fan
one
hey Steve, their fan base is kind of ACC'd out, according to people who know.
I've read that too.
I mean, they're not getting big crowds at football. They kind of lost some buzz and some of the other stuff. And they look around and they see the SEC, they see the Big Ten. There's a lot of their fans are. UNC's got a lot of North Carolina people, and North Carolina people are Southerners. I mean, they would the idea for them. Forget the results on the field for a minute. The idea for them of Tennessee coming to town is really appealing. Of South Carolina coming to Chapel Hill, of Florida coming to Chapel Hill, LSU, Alabama coming to Chapel Hill. Those are huge games. Texas coming to Chapel Hill, Oklahoma coming to Chapel Hill, taking a road game to Ole Miss, a road game to Auburn to play at Jordan-Hare, a road game to Georgia to play at Sanford. That's to their fan base. That's exciting. I mean, they would be able to generate a lot of interest, a lot of money, a lot of synergy that they don't have right now. I mean, I was not to interrupt.
Yeah, but the president of North Carolina.
Not to interrupt your call, and I'll shut up after this. I'm just telling you, for me, I went to the Ole Miss Wake Forest game this past season in Winston-Salem, and nothing against Wake. It's a beautiful campus. The people in Winston-Salem were really cool. There was a cool bar I went to. I liked Winston-Salem. I went to a spinning class that Saturday morning. It was awesome. Kick ass. I enjoyed my trip. Don't get me wrong. Winston-Salem is fine. I enjoyed it. Winston-Salem's a neat town. But that stadium, that environment and stuff, man, it wasn't big time at all. And that's the ACC. There's a ton of that. Like, you don't get that in the SEC. You just don't. There's nothing in the SEC that you go to. Even Vanderbilt now, when you go to an SEC game, even at the places that aren't particularly good, like on a given Saturday, I mean, and you've been like, let's give credit where it's due. When Mississippi State's decent, it's a pretty cool environment. Kentucky's a fun environment. Arkansas's a fun environment. Those are teams that don't even compete in the SEC. That's before you even talk about Tiger Stadium and Jordan-Hare and Bryant-Denny and Texas. You know what I'm saying? I mean, ACC just doesn't match that.
Yeah.
The ACC just doesn't match that.
No, it doesn't. And I've been to Wake too. It's nothing.
Yeah.
One more thing. Change the subject a little bit here. Did you see where the governor of Mississippi was hitting people up on Facebook to buy his daughter's NIL gear?
No, I didn't see that. I did not.
Yeah, apparently she plays soccer at Chattanooga.
Yeah. I mean,
So if you want to make a donation.
Yeah, I don't. I'm good. But I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you for letting me know about it.
All right. You have a good week.
Hey, thank
Talk
you,
to you
Steve.
later.
Appreciate you.
Bye.
Appreciate Steve for calling as always. Good. A lot of great callers tonight. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, Winston-Salem's a NASCAR town. I don't know about that. It's just not. It didn't feel like big time college football. I mean, I've said this before. I mean, that night, for whatever reason, I mean, I watched like the first series and I was like, this is a blowout. This isn't even, these two teams aren't playing the same sport. I kind of mentally checked out at that point. It's, again, like compared to the bottom of the SEC, all of the environments at the bottom of the SEC are worlds superior to that. Just over the top. Not even close. Kentucky, Mississippi State, Arkansas, Vanderbilt. Those are the consensus bottom four teams in the league right now. All four of those schools have significantly better environments than Wake. I'm not picking on Wake. I'm just saying that's ACC now. It's boring. ACC's kind of watch some ACC football. It's kind of boring compared to the Big 12 even. It's boring. So yeah, if you're North Carolina, you're a North Carolina fan, you have an opportunity to get into the high profile leagues. I don't know how you sit still for 5 years. I keep waiting to see some pushback about the president's executive order today. I'm sure I'm missing some things. It's kind of hard to do multiple things at once, but the Trump part where he says he's saving college sports is pretty funny to me. I mean, that's typical Trump boister. There's just a lot of pushback about whether or not he I don't know that that's saving college sports. I don't know. Someone in the stream said this, and I agree completely. The only way to save college sports, whatever that means, is for the people who created this mess to clean it up. The same people who completely just let things go over a 4-year period have to pull some of it back. They have to have some restraint. They have to legislate themselves. They have to have some discipline. I don't know that that's possible. I think everyone keeps looking to the government to fix things. Take a look around. The government doesn't fix things. I don't know why it's so difficult for people to see. The government can't fix anything. They can't fix anything. It doesn't matter who's in power. The government can't fix things. They're not going to fix college sports. The only fix for college sports is they're going to have to implement some rules, enforce the rules, and have discipline. Not emotion, discipline. I don't personally think that can happen. That's why the players win everything, every time, over and over and over and over and over again. It's how backup safeties at the SEC level are making $300,000 a year to come play a little bit and not particularly well. It's because it's so emotional. But you have the beginnings of some pushback. You have some donor fatigue. The novelty's beginning to wear off. It's not worth it if you don't go to the playoffs, etc. So maybe it fixes itself over time. It probably does to some degree. But I don't know that some presidential order, some presidential edict, some executive order coming from on high is going to actually, come on. Nothing against Donald Trump. He's done some good things. He's done some bad things. He's had some good weeks. He's had some bad weeks. I'm not sure I buy this. That's all. I think this is him overstepping his power. I think a court's there's going to be some injunction. And this, at some point, the people that run college sports are going to have to fix themselves. They're going to have some discipline. And until they do, it's just going to be the wild, wild west, which is what it's been. And maybe that's okay. Ratings are super high. Attendance is great. Interest has never been higher. Like I've said many times, just because you look at something rationally and logically and go, this isn't sustainable, doesn't mean that it's not sustainable. Sometimes things are irrational. The heart wants what it wants, right? I mean, there's a lot of relationships out there that don't make any sense, except for the fact that the two people just can't avoid each other. Maybe that's where we are. Grind, thank you so much. She says, appreciate the content. Thanks. Appreciate you, Grind, as always. Do I think the UNC talk to the SEC was intentional? The SEC typically kind of stays out of this. I think this is just some ACC schools getting antsy. They don't want to wait 5 years. It's the whole couple that have decided they're going to get divorced as soon as the kids graduate high school. They typically don't make it to the last kid's senior year. I mean, once you've sort of decided that you're out, you're out. I've heard about this story about the UTSA quarterback and the Memphis DB. I know it's on 3. I've read a little bit about it, ZT Sports, but I don't know enough about it to comment right now. Yeah, Sammy, you said Texas and Oklahoma. That's a great example. Texas and Oklahoma decided they wanted out, and even though there were still some years left in that contract, they just said, "Hey, we're leaving. We're leaving. We're going to the new girl," and they left. Billy Ray Cyrus and Elizabeth Hurley. Is that a thing? I don't know. I'm not. Pop culture is my weak spot. Sammy says only complete unionization can save opportunities for student athletes. It's probably true. I don't know how you get there. Tyler made the point today that we're probably looking at a 5-year window or something here where everyone sort of positions themselves in one of the two big leagues because the two big leagues are about to break away and privatize and unionize. That could easily be the case. I'd completely buy that. All right, I'm going to leave it open for just a couple more minutes before I shut it down here on a Thursday night. Appreciate everybody that's called in. As always, people have participated in the stream. It's been a full week of podcast here at MPW Digital. Had Jeffrey Wright on this morning. Had Mind on My Money with Martin Palomo, brought to you by Argent Wealth earlier today. Tyler and I recorded McCready and Siskey, brought to you by Rain. Total Body Fuel. And then tonight's show brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. We'll have a full week next week. Practice gets started at some point next week. I believe players report on Tuesday or Wednesday. First practice is the next day. I think the media day next week is either Wednesday or Thursday of next week. And then we'll get rolling. By this time next week, we'll be into preseason camp. We'll have I think there's the NFL Hall of Fame game is a week from tonight. So we're getting to football season rapidly at this point. Hey, Grind, what's up, man?
Yo, what's up, my guy? I appreciate you staying on just a little bit longer for me, man. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm doing good, dude. Well, I'm doing all right. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. I got some family stuff that I wish, would just go ahead and pass by. My granddad's not doing too well, so I hope he. But just working all that other stuff.
Well, my condolences to you about your grandfather. Absolutely. Prayers to him and to your family.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Those are much needed. Dude. So I mean. You're almost, about to join the workforce again. How about that, man? I start off with a little joke.
It's been man, it's been a roller coaster. It has been an interesting few months. I can say that. There've been some days that I have really questioned humanity a little bit, and then there's been some days that have been extremely validating. And so, it's been interesting for sure.
Well, I mean, is there anything that we as fans should be looking like? Because I know you're saying August 1st is like it seems like it's like, is there anything that we need to gear up for as far as like a speech or something? Or
there's going to be some content. I'm going to write about it on August the 1st. We will do a live stream that morning where I'm sure that Chase will try to goad me into talking about it some, and I probably will. And then, man, we're just gonna get rolling. Like it's gonna be football season, and I know part of that day is gonna be about me and my news, but like I'm working on some content that is about the teams that I cover. I don't want that day to all be about me. We're gonna get rolling because. The next day is going to be 4 weeks from kickoff. We're about to get.
Crazy.
We're about to get. Auburn kicks off 4 weeks from tomorrow. We're about to get. Or 5 weeks from tomorrow. We're about to get rolling. It's that time of year, so it's. I'm not. I know there's going to be a lot of conversation about me, and that's fine. I'm cool with it, but no, I don't. That whole day is not going to be about me. No way.
I got you. But we the fans, we care about you, we love you, so we always want to know what's going on with you, man. So,
well, and you know what? And I appreciate you saying that. And I'm gonna take this opportunity to say this. I have had so many people reach out to me over the last. Hardly a day goes by that I don't have people that I don't know. That's the crazy, the humbling part. Like when it's people that I know. Mm-hmm. When it's people that are friends of mine that I've known for a long time and they reach out like, hey, you good? Like, that's different. It means a lot to me. Don't get me wrong. But I've caught myself what really humbles me, like kind of stops me in my tracks a little bit. And this happens almost every day, is someone who I don't know. I don't know them. I've never met them. Reaches out to me and is like, hey, I'm checking on you, checking on your family. How's everything? Are you okay? Are you good? Or I'm super excited about following where you go or whatever. And, they'll make a comment like, I listen to your show all the time. I drive or I do whatever. And I feel like I know you. And you realize like the power of this medium and you realize the power of what we've built. And that's an incredibly humbling thing when someone who doesn't know you but thinks they do. And I mean that in a nice way. I don't mean that in a bad way, but like I don't know them because they watch me talk or listen to me talk or whatever, and listen to me and Chase, listen to me and Tyler, or whatever the case may be. And, you know, in the natural course of things, right or wrong, good or bad, we talk about our lives. And so, you know, people know about my girls, and people know about Carson and you know, his soccer career, for example, and, you know, some of that stuff. And you know, I don't know them because we're not really together. You see what I'm saying? And the fact that they,
exactly.
and the fact that they feel like they know.
It's not like they have a pod that you're listening to.
Yeah, I'm not listening to their podcast, right? And so when they reach out like that, you know, and just to kind of be like, hey, you know, I've been worried about you. You've been in my prayers. I get that one like a lot, and I mean, it almost kind of makes you choke up a little bit, like, you know. Right, because I mean, I mean this when I say this. Like, I don't ever really think of myself as like some big deal, and I'm not. And sometimes when I'm doing this show, I forget that there's hundreds of people in a live stream, and then thousands of people that are going to listen. I just sort of think about, hey, I'm just kind of talking with the people in the stream and the people that call, or if it's just me and Tyler, sometimes it just feels like I'm just talking to Tyler. You know what I mean? And I get that. Yeah, and so when there've been a lot of people that have reached out, and that has been, I mean, I don't know if humbling is the right word. It's the word that keeps coming to mind, but it's been incredibly humbling, validating. You know, and then there's some other things that have happened that have been really motivating. Like there's been some football seasons that when the football season starts, I'm like, all right, here we go. Like I've told this story. I knew it was time to get off the Auburn beat in 2002. I'd been on the Auburn beat for 6 years, and they opened the season in 2002 at home in Jordan-Hare against somebody. I can't remember. Or 2003, whatever it was. And I remember
2003 was USC, wasn't it?
Yeah. I walked out of the stadium that night 4 hours after the game ended, and I said to myself, 1 down, 11 to go. And I went, oh, shit. I said, you're in trouble. And I knew right then it was time to do something new. It was time to, you know what I mean? And
yeah, you were basically just counting down the days. Yeah.
And I don't feel that way at all right now. Like that's good, because there were some times, to be honest, the last couple of years where I was like, man, I don't know how much longer I can do this. Like I was frustrated with rivals. That's no secret. Everybody that was friends of mine were leaving the network. I wasn't sure about where things were going, and I was getting frustrated. I was getting a little burned out, and a lot of that's gone away. And so that's for me, that's really good.
I will say you guys did a great job of like just keeping it under wraps. Cause like I said, I saw that, you know, sites and whatnot were leaving. But for instance, when I saw that that War Chant got replaced with the Osceola,
yeah,
or like with an actual newspaper, I thought you guys were kind of, you know, with that, because it seemed like they were bringing in a more journalistic team, but not like a.
Yeah, and I'll talk about this some on August the 1st, but I'll tell you that when there were a handful that when they happened, when the guys at Gamecock Central left to go to On 3, that was a tough one for me. When
so you guys, like you guys would rather be surrounded by people who are actually, I guess, movers and shakers than around, like, I guess, people who you would deem more credible or not fanboys.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, and sometimes, like, I'll give you an example. Trey Biddy covers Arkansas, and Trey left Rivals for 24/7. And look, Trey's a fan. Mm-hmm. but Trey's a critical fan. There's a difference, right? I mean, it's not
Matt Moscona's a fan.
Yeah, he is, but Matt Moscona, man, I mean, like when Orgeron was at LSU, Moscona was persona non grata over there. I mean, he was not afraid to take shots. And like, I'm not a fan, but like I don't have an issue. My problem with fanboy is when it's obvious that a team is struggling, that a program is struggling, and they're still just propping it up. Like, I mean, come on. Like, or when it's just completely over the top. But when Trey left,
whoever told me Auburn was gonna go 9-3 last year.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say no names.
Yep, but yeah, and I mean, like the big one, and it's no secret for me. I mean, Gabe DeArmond's one of my best friends. Gabe is a lot like me. He covers Missouri very similar to the way that I cover Ole Miss. And when Gabe went through the whole contract thing with everybody, I was a sounding board naturally. And I learned a lot. He never asked me, hey, what would you do? And so I never said, hey, here's what I would do. I just kind of listened. But, I knew what I would have done had I been him. And, when he left Rivals and Rivals replaced him with, I don't even know who, that was like, I was like, man, this is not good, and there were some times last year where, I mean, I hate to throw people under the bus, but like LSU, Ole Miss played LSU and like, I'm not sure. Like I kept looking at that going, man, if you let me cover LSU, like I could do damage, like that's a big fan base. They're pretty rabid. And, I mean, I wasn't even sure that the rival site was even at the game. I mean, it was just crazy. There was just stuff that happened and I was kind of getting burned out a little bit. And so this is good for this is really good for, and there were some good sites at Rivals. Remember the Kentucky site's great. Jay's great. Jay does a great job. There are
I
some.
don't get why they stayed. That's just my two. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that's just my 2 cents on everything. I don't get why, unless, like I say, I'm just a fan. I don't understand the inner workings of the actual details and how the switchovers are, who's the big boss, or if you got 2 captains on this ship or whatever. But I don't know. I don't. I figured he would have left like with, or saw himself as like a VolQuest or somewhat. But I mean, since they came back, I guess there's really no difference. But like I say, man, it's a lot of stuff that just I don't personally. I hate the fact they kept Rebel Grove. I know you don't have to comment on that. You've already said your piece on it. But me personally, just as a person who believes in building your own thing, I absolutely find it disgusting. Like I just want to spit at them, and that's just me. Like that's just me. I feel like that's if someone else would have created something. And then, y'all just would have just piggyback off their name. I would have told y'all and said, man, look, y'all, I really don't like the fact that y'all are doing that. I don't know why y'all couldn't keep the name Rebel Grove, but, or whatnot. But I would have said, hey, if, Big Rebels or whatever, just, hey, we're gonna take on the new name. We're gonna take on the name Big Rebels now. And I believe I wouldn't have been the only one in the in the chat or in your guys' fan base that would have said, hey, we kind of don't like that. And like when I think of Rebel Grove, I think of you guys. You know what I mean? I don't think of anything else. So,
well, Gabe kind of addressed some of that. Gabe addressed some of that too. Like the other day, he said, Power Mizzou is Gabe. It's not 24/7 or Rivals. It's Gabe.
I was gonna ask, do y'all not own that?
No,
do y'all not own that? Like,
no, and I'll address it August 1st. I don't.
Okay.
It's kind of my fault. There was a lapse and Yahoo bought it or took it, and I'll address it August 1st. I mean, what On3 is doing is completely within their legal rights. I agree with you. I think they're making a mistake. I've said that. They've done some confusing things as it applies to branding, but they've not done anything wrong.
Yes.
And they've been, I'll say this again. Shannon Terry, Billy Embody have been nothing but good to me, nothing but professional to me. I don't know everybody else at On3. that's as it pertains to the Ole Miss portion of that site. I'll leave it at that. And then we'll go from there. I personally think that while brand matters, I don't think it's as important as people, and we're prepared to prove that. So, we've got a lot of plans for what's coming when the day comes, and I think as the fall unfolds, we've got a lot of big plans, and I think we're going to do a really good job, and all of that. But I've got to be careful with what I say in the next 7 days.
And just, me being 100% honest, I believe you guys' plan is going to work out. And I think you guys are going to be proven right on the fact that, we're going to follow you guys. Hell, the last time, the only time I've ever been on a message board was on 247, and I got kicked off like 8 years ago for not being like a fan. So I think, I'm going to join. I'm going to sign up. I'm going to join 247. Once you're officially on board, I'm going to go with some incognito name just to show my support for you guys.
Well,
just for them to look at the numbers and be like, oh, they're +1. Who is this new guy?
But you know what? Hey, but Grind, if you want to register as Grind, you can, because again, this is the power of community, and we've built one, and you're a part of our community, and everybody knows you're an Auburn fan. But you're super respectful and all that stuff, and I think the overwhelming majority of the people, there's going to be people at 24/7 that aren't going to like me. I mean, I've already seen some of it, right? I mean, there was one guy that made a big deal about how my kids didn't go there and blah blah blah, and there's people that do the Laramie Tunsil thing, and there's always going to be detractors, but what we've built our site on, what we've built our podcast network on, is community. We've covered Ole Miss when they went 11-2 and won the Peach Bowl. We covered Ole Miss when they won the NCAA national championship in baseball. We've covered a Sweet 16 last year in basketball. We've also covered 2 and 10. We've covered NCAA sanctions. We've covered embarrassment, the Hugh Freeze thing. We've covered a lot. We've kind of run the gamut, and the consistency has been community. It's not like the whole what Ole Miss does on the field. Yeah, sure. If the gods come down and go, hey, what do you want from Ole? You get to decide. I'm like, let them win. It's easier when they win. Life is just easier if Ole Miss is winning when you do this job. But here's the deal. The gods don't ever come down and do that. Like, so far they haven't. Maybe they will one day, but they haven't yet. And so I don't have any control over that. I don't have any control over whether Ole Miss is getting ready to go 12-0 and go to the playoff as the 1 seed, or if Ole Miss is getting ready to go 5-7 and have like one of the most disappointing seasons in school history. I have no control over that. I have no control over whether Chris Beard is about to take Ole Miss to the Final Four, or whether they're going to go 5-13, 5-13 in the league and not make it. I have no control over whether Mike Bianco is about to go win another national championship, or if they're about to go 5-25 in the SEC. Those are things that I can't control. None, zero, no control at all. So you don't build your business model or the way that you do your job around things that you can't control. You build your business model and the way that you do your job around the things that you can control. And that's what we've done, I think, really, really well. And it's what we'll keep doing. And so if you want to join as Grind, I think you'd be shocked at how many people would be like, hey, Grind is awesome. He's part of the podcast network. He calls in all the time. He's a great guy. I think you'd be surprised at how many people would be like, you're welcome here.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna do that, and like I said, man, I appreciate it, and especially when we going through some things now. So I think it'll probably help to have like some sense of just online community, because I don't really do like Instagram, Twitter, anything like that. So like I said, I'll give it a try and check you guys out. I want to get your opinion on this political stuff before I let you go, though, man.
Okay.
If you find it interesting, let me know. If you don't, then we can just end the call, and I appreciate you hearing me out.
Okay.
But this company called Black Talk, which is they poll African Americans, in America, in different age groups and whatnot.
Okay.
And what I found very interesting is that this poll was taken after Trump's 100 days, and so even right now, after Trump's 100 days, with millennials, and I feel like millennials, 29 to 44, my age bracket, we are kind of the most pivotal. Dang, I can't even say it right now.
Pivotal.
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
Yes, thank you. To basically the Republicans and the Democrats, because we're going to eventually become, we basically have the most votes left, and as of right now are the most influential in the workforce and all of that stuff. Did you know their favorability even right now among African Americans who are millennials is negative 24%?
Trump's favorability
even after Trump's 100 days
is a minus 24.
No, Democrats.
Oh, Democrats. Oh,
no, Democrats. Yes, Democrats.
Well,
the overall party.
Yeah,
they said they're seeing 24 points less favorable. I find that very interesting.
Sure.
Just from the standpoint of, like I said, I voted for Trump, and I mean, like lately, like you said, man, he's been off message, real. The things that I've been looking for, they haven't been coming into play yet.
Yep.
And so I figured that someone who didn't vote for Trump, would be, all yada yada yada. But another thing that I found interesting is that 41% said that they believe Democrats need to be less woke. And so, I'm basically saying that to say I don't, even if Trump,
you know what's funny, Grind?
So has these slip ups.
I told my wife this the other day. We were talking about just the political climate, and I grew up in Louisiana, North Louisiana, and I played sports with a lot of black guys that are. When I saw them at like my high school reunion, like those were like the people that you immediately it just like the years disappeared. You know what I mean? Because we practiced together, we played together. Those were my guys. I mean, we weren't white or black. We were, I mean, as cliche as it sounds, we were Bearcats. We played. We tried to. We wanted to beat Neville. We wanted to beat West Monroe. We wanted to beat Washita. We wanted to win a state championship. We didn't think racially, not on the field anyway.
Yeah.
But what I remember, I told my wife, what I remember about those guys was like they had strong, like big families. They had strong, they went to church. They would go to church on Sundays, and like church was all day long. Like, we had film on Saturday. We didn't have film on Sunday because those guys wouldn't be there. Like church was a big part of of the African American culture there. They had great respect for their elders. Their grandparents came to games, stuff like that. Big family units would come to games and stuff like that. And like those were guys I played with for years. I mean, I knew some of their families by the end of it. You know what I mean? And I was like, those are conservative values, like family oriented, religious, Christian, hardworking, etc. Those are conservative values, regardless of your skin color. And so the whole super woke thing with with what I remember from
what I found.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
No. Only thing I was gonna say, because I found this poll. I found this poll basically while watching a black media news outlet, and they were befuddled because they believed that they thought that African Americans would identify woke as them, but no, they identified as something that's totally not as part as them. As part as us, and especially with millennials, and they're like, this is the most important voting group that you have to try to capture for the next 8 to 20 years or so. And I'm saying that to say it seems as if the Democrats can't get a message or a person to come across. And then I found out about the whole how Emil Jones made Barack Obama, and my head went. I was like, see, because I didn't really become, I didn't vote. I wasn't able to vote in 2008. I was still too young.
Yeah.
And so, you have people saying, well, how, because basically what I hear is, how can the Democrats make a Obama? But they say, Trump was a grassroots guy. And if you look at it, Obama was kind of made in a lab.
Yeah.
The second time, I voted for Obama in 2012, but that's, if you just do the comparative analysis, I don't know how you get a grassroots guy if you're not attached to the grass. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Obama's a fascinating political figure, depending on what you believe and what you read and who you read it from. I mean, that's complex, right? And you know, like you got to be a certain degree of psycho to want to be president, no matter who you are, what party.
1,000%.
I mean, you got to be a little nuts.
1,000%.
But Obama's a
1,000%.
Obama's complex. And this has been a bad week for Obama too. I mean, like the whole that's been the weird part of this week is that the Epstein stuff with Trump, some of the PR disasters, but like Tulsi Gabbard has brought the receipts. I mean, there's no denying the now Obama's going to have, immunity in large part because of Trump's win in the Supreme Court where he got immunity. I mean, the irony of ironies, but I mean, this has not been a great week for Barack Obama. This has not been a great week for Hillary Clinton. Hell, this hasn't just been a terrific week for our country, really. I mean,
that's what I was going to say, honestly.
I said this on Mind on My Money today. What's really bothered me this week is that there's a large segment of the population that's like really worked up about Epstein, and I get it. Don't get me wrong. I totally understand. And there's a large segment of our population that's really worked up on the 2016 Russiagate thing, and I get it. We should be because, I mean, it was kind of treasonous if we're being honest. But why is nobody worked up about 2020? Where is the vitriol towards Anthony Fauci? Where are people? Why are people not worked up around the forced lockdowns and the mass mandates and the people that lost their jobs and people that had to get vaccinated when they probably turns out they didn't need to be vaccinated and everybody knew they didn't need to be vaccinated? And where's all of that? That's what's baffled me this week is that we have this polarization politically.
I noticed. No, what you were going to say? What you were going to say?
Well, we have this polarization politically, right? Where the people that hate Trump are like, see, I told you he was a pedophile. And you have the people that hate Obama and the left that are like, see, I told you he's a treasonous traitor. And then but there's nobody really that's like, man, in between those two things, we had this crazy year of total chaos and no one's like asking for an audit. We're asking for this big audit about Trump and the Epstein files and all this, and this big audit about 2016 and Hillary Clinton and Russiagate and who knew what and all that. And don't get me wrong, I think we should. But no, in between, we had this thing that actually impacted all of us. Like the truth is, like the whole Epstein files thing, as horrible as it is, doesn't really affect your average American. The 2016 thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they were trying to sabotage Trump. They failed. He won anyway.
I was going to say it sounded like somebody thought they had somebody's playbook and was like, oh snap, we finna beat them, and no.
Yeah.
Even with the playbook, you lost.
But in 2020, I mean, it's hard. You're hard pressed to find somebody that wasn't impacted by the decisions that were made in 2020, and nobody wants to. Everybody goes, oh, well, we just need to move on. Like, I don't understand it. Like, I'm completely.
I think a lot of people do that because from what I remember from COVID, like during that time where it was like lockdown, you can't go to the gym and you can't, like, you had to force, like, if you were doing something social, it had to be forced. Like, if you were going to work out, you got to go run outside doing it. And if you were the person that attacked it, I think you came out of COVID with a different mental health state than people who were I know a lot of people who just stayed in their house and got big. I mean, no offense, but they gained weight, came out sloppy, depressed.
Alcoholic.
And I think a lot of people who have moved on, a lot of people who moved on from that are just like, man, I don't even want to go back to that. It's just everything wrapped with that time. I don't even want to think about it because that was probably where I was at my lowest in life.
Yeah.
And so I don't even want to think about, what could have led to me being the lowest in my life. And,
sure.
Because, I mean, there's probably a lot of people who needed therapy for COVID that haven't got treated for it.
Sure.
For whatever, a lot of stuff. And so
I've just been, that's been my thing this week. I've just kind of watched and sort of just surprised. I don't know. It's made me just kind of question. I mean, I totally understand why people want full transparency about the Epstein thing. I get it. I understand why people want to relitigate the 2016 thing, because if a sitting president tried to impact a political race in a way that was illegal, I mean, we should know. But man,
yes,
I mean,
yes,
it's
we
just
should.
there's just an inconsistency with that kind of bothers me a little bit. But hey, that's American politics today, I think.
I agree, man. Look, I appreciate you taking my call, man. You have a blessed one, and like I said, I thank you for telling me that is it, I guess, Inside the Rebels?
It will not be Inside the Rebels. We will have a new name on that day.
Okay. Well, I just appreciate that you for you letting me know that the community is going to be supportive and appreciative, and basically very very nice and all that stuff, and very welcoming. So I'm gonna give it a try, see what's going on, and I just hang around familiar faces basically. So I appreciate it, man. You have a blessed one, and be good, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate your time.
Bye.
All right, we're going to wrap it there after talking to Grind. Great call to end it with. Appreciate everyone for being with us. Be back on Monday with a full week of MPW Digital. We'll have football practice. We'll get rolling next week on the show. Chase will be back from his trip at Disney World. Hopefully he has a great trip back. Last couple days of his vacation. Glad that he was able to get away and recharge his battery a bit as well. Again, thanks to Comer, Southern, all the people that make this show possible. Thanks to all of you who called in and participated in the stream. We will talk to you again next week. Have a wonderful weekend. Be safe out there. Talk to you soon. Bye.